Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's been a while, I guess. Actually, it's not been that that long. Not as long as usual. 2 weeks maybe, 3 weeks, a month, I don't know. My last video was like a paint with me thing, and I've decided to do it again, but just in a slightly different style where I've actually already done the painting, so I know how this thing turns out, and then I'm just gonna kind of like react to it, but also just talk. Like, reaction's the wrong word. I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, what the hell is that? I'm just gonna kind of watch it and I don't know, talk through it. It kind of sounds really boring, and honestly, I know I've just started the video and I want you guys to watch it, but I honestly think this could be really boring. So I'm just gonna see what happens. And I don't mind talking kind of to myself and or just to the camera. I'm alright at it. I've done it for a few years and I quite enjoy it. But I've never done it for like an hour. So this video is also like an hour long. It's an hour and 12 minutes. 20 seconds long. And I don't think I've ever talked to myself for that long before. I don't think. I might have. I'm not sure. So we'll just see how it goes. It might be really bad. But yeah, I might just end up cutting it down to 20 minutes or what, like, I don't know. Or maybe doing like, what, part 1, 2, and 3, or I don't know, it's just weird, right? So those who kind of want to watch it can watch it, but I don't know if, I don't think I'm entertaining enough, so, and it's only me. Maybe if I had someone else, and it could be more like a podcast, but it's literally just going to be me talking. So, I don't know, we'll just see what happens. I've also got a Monster, which I don't ever really drink Monsters. But I was like, I'm quite tired, and I thought, if I'm going to be talking for an hour, and 12 minutes and 20 seconds, I'm just going to have a Monster, just to, like, get myself energy. So this could go horribly wrong, and I might be almost, like, dying by the end of the video, because they always give me, like, I don't know, it feels like kidney stones. It makes me, like, just feel like my gut is going to die. I'm more of a coffee guy, but I'm here with the Monster today, which will be funny. I do like the way Monsters look. I know it's stupid, but I do think they look cool. I know I'm just falling for the marketing, but they do look cool. I think they're my favourite looking drink. But whatever, I mean, green and black is a cool combo. Kind of like a creeper. Anyway, here's the video. Should I just start watching it? This is literally it. I mean, there's nothing more to, like, say. This is the whole damn thing. This is so stupid. I'm like, what do I say? Oh, look, I'm measuring up my... Okay, well, look, I had this idea for this picture, and I've had this idea for this kind of video, this style of video I wanted to do for one. And like I said, I did it in the last... Oh, you just had a cut there, a little crossfade. So yeah, it's not like straight. It took me like 3 hours, I think, to paint this picture. But I've had this idea for like a little while, a couple months. And I haven't got around to doing it just because, I don't know, I think I'm a bit of a procrastinator, but also I've like started a new job and stuff like that, and also I tried to move to London in August, and then I kind of decided I didn't want to, which I might get into today. I don't really know what I'm going to talk about. I think I'm just going to talk about things I want to talk about. Like, I've tried to start YouTube again sort of this whole year, but I think I operated from a kind of like a point of stress, and it meant that every time I sat down to like record a video, I just kept talking about how like stressed I was about life, and it kind of, every time I recorded, I was like, oh, I don't really like this video. I don't know why. And it's like, yeah, maybe because the only thing you're talking about is like the fact that you're stressed out, and that's not very entertaining. So I don't just want that to happen today. I have some things in mind that I might talk about, but also, you know, I'm also not really that stressed anymore, so that's okay. Hence kind of why I'm actually recording a painting instead of just me talking. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the painting itself. Oh my god. First sip and I spilled it on myself. It is kind of nice, the Monster. Look. Two big eyes in the sky. So it's kind of, I think after I came up with the idea, I realized it was kind of Lord of the Rings inspired. And at the beginning of this year, I actually read the Lord of the Rings. So I think that's definitely where like the idea came from. I don't know what's going on here now. It's just me doing nothing. But I think Yeah, it did come from Lord of the Rings. So basically, it's just gonna you'll see what I mean in a second. But at the moment, I'm just drawing two big eyes in the sky, and I have Pinterest open, which I use for references because simply references are just so useful. And I did just brush my mic there. I hope that wasn't too crazy. References are so useful. Like, it's improved my drawing so much, and I'm not that good at drawing. But at the beginning of my drawing journey, I would say, like sort of last year, I was so bad. And references have helped me. Like, I could not draw those eyes from my brain. So if you feel like using references is cheating, which I think most people don't, but I know definitely some people do, and I definitely used to think that. I thought, well, if I have to copy it, then I'm not drawing it, am I? Don't, like, just forget about that, because references are so useful. I mean, look at that guy there, he's helping me out so much. That old chap, what a legend. I have to admit, what I'm drawing looks nothing like that, but it must be helpful in some way. Yeah, so I don't know what I'm doing it. I guess I'm wetting the page, right? Is this boring? Should I talk about something else? Are you guys bored of the painting? I could just leave it on in the background and talk about something else. Now I have to think of things to talk about. Okay, for an hour. How far through are we? 3 minutes. Okay. This might be harder than I thought. I'm gonna. If anyone watches this whole thing, I will be extremely shocked. I mean, I'm gonna have to edit it, so that's gonna be fun. What have I been up to recently? Well, it's kind of been the same old. I'm 22. Actually, I'm gonna start talking about how stressed I am. I'm not gonna do that. What should I talk about? These books. Okay, I've been reading, so that's really fun. What am I reading at the moment? At the moment, I'm reading a few things. So I sort of finished a really good book called Garden Landscape, which I will get into. But I've been reading, so now I'm sort of trying to find the next book to kind of get into. And I always make the mistake of trying to read fiction, so stuff that is real. No. I always make the mistake of reading non-fiction, which is stuff that is real. So I'm reading, at the moment, the main book I'm reading is, I'll get it. This damn thing. Bill Bryson, A Short History of Nearly Everything. And it's actually really good. Like, I think it's one of my dad's favorite books, so I was like, okay, I'll read it. And it's basically like science. It's all about science. But what makes it good is that it's about where the ideas scientists have come from. So there's like a whole chapter on Einstein. There's a whole chapter on paleontologists, on how we discovered like the universe is so big, quarks and like quantum physics and all this stuff that you sort of know about. You don't really learn how it works. Like, he describes it really well, where you can sort of picture it and you go, oh, that makes sense. Obviously, I don't understand. You don't understand quantum physics after reading it. But what's great is that he tells the stories of how people came to these things, and they are so funny and entertaining and weird. Like, there's something about, 18th century and 19th century sort of like, scientists. You get like those people who kind of do everything, and they seem to invent stuff and discover stuff and travel the world all in their life. They're also just like, they're just so funny. I think, like, let me try and find an example of a funny thing. Here we go. So this chapter is about chemistry, and I think chemistry was kind of chemistry in its early days was strange. I'm gonna talk like I know this, but I'm literally reading from a book. There's this guy called Hennig Brand, who's a German, and Brand became convinced that gold could somehow be distilled from human urine. So he thought that you could turn human urine into gold. So it's like alchemy. It's like old school alchemy. And this was in like 1675. So everything was like combined into one thing. And so he assembled 50 buckets of human urine, which he kept for months in his cellar. And he converted the urine first into a noxious paste, and then into a translucent waxy substance, which is, I don't know, it's quite clever. I don't know how you do that. But obviously it didn't turn into gold. But then over time it started to glow. And then when it was exposed to air, it spontaneously burst into flame. And this was phosphorus, so which means light bearing. So that's like I'm just reading it. Yeah, I don't know. I think it got turned into candles. I'm not entirely sure because it doesn't go into too much detail, but soldiers had to like provide their raw urine so then it could be turned into into like candles and shit like that. And this was all in Sweden. Or no, some guy called Carl did that in Sweden. And now Sweden is a leading producer of matches because of that reason. So I don't know, that was a terrible example. I should have maybe had something prepared there. Because there's also funny things. And lots of really interesting things about history and like the history of science and how sort of chaotic it was back in the day. Maybe it is still really chaotic now, but I kind of get the sense it's not. It's quite clinical, and scientists don't believe that, you know, they don't believe in like alchemy and sort of the supernatural the same way scientists did before, which is, I think, the cool part. Like I wish more people believed in the supernatural. Oh my god, look at my painting. So that's what I'm reading at the moment, which is it's really good, but it's long, and I'm sort of going in and out of it. I've also got a book on like this weird book. What was that? Which was the report of unidentified flying objects by a guy called Edward J. Ruppelt, who was the former head of the Air Force Project Blue Book, which, if you don't know, was a branch of the military, or like the CIA, that basically studied UFOs from like 1947 to somewhere in the 50s. I think it was in the 50s. So that's his, like, after he left it, he wrote a book about his what do you even call it, like time on there and what he found out, and he was the leader of it. So it's all about UFOs and stuff like that. But the last chapter, I will say, is him basically saying none of it's true. So it's one of those things where the whole book, he's so convinced, and he's like, this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened. He releases that version, and then he releases another version where he's like, yeah, by the way, it's not true. So it's just like, whatever, I don't know. But it's interesting. It's slightly boring. But I do like UFOs, so I'm reading that. Should we go back to my painting? You can see now, okay, so that's a sunset. The orange is like a sunset with two eyes in the sky, and I want the wrinkles to look like clouds. That was my that's my idea. Obviously they don't at the moment, but I'm going to try and turn to clouds. As you can see, it doesn't quite look that good, and it does get a bit messy. I probably should have done a bit more practice with the clouds, which I do, but I sort of do it a bit too late. So yeah, but so they're like the two sort of fiction or no, non-fiction books I'm reading at the moment, which are quite interesting. But like I said, I'm more of a fiction person. I do prefer not real stuff more. So I read back-to-back 3 great science fiction books. First one, Philip K. Dick, The Android's Dream of Electric Sheep. These are like, well, this book literally was crazy. I mean, it's the book that is that inspired Blade Runner. So Blade Runner is the same story. It's just called Blade Runner. But it was really good. It was really well written. It left a lot up to the imagination in terms of its descriptions, but also just the story and the world. You could really feel the kind of the dystopian dirt that sort of clung to everything, and the sort of like smog that hung in the air. You could, like, the world felt so dirty and grim and dark, which it obviously is in the movie, but actually the movie's quite colourful and bright. But there is that kind of, they have this thing in it called, I think it's called Keppel or Kippel. I think it's called Kippel, which is just like leftover stuff from other people that no one wants anymore. So it's just like waste, but there's just tons of it that it basically just takes over everything. That it's a much larger part of the world than humans are, is just this waste. And I think you see that in the movie. I know when he goes to the big house at the end, and there's all those like dolls, and it's filled with like stuff that clearly no one uses anymore. But it's really good, and it's actually quite different from the book. It's definitely worth reading. It's quite short. It's like 200 pages, I think, or 300. But it is really good. It's really good. The main character's great. He's not likable, but he isn't unlikable. He's kind of quite realistic, and I don't know, it's quite a realistic story in some ways, just because the characters are grounded and flawed. But it's great. I wish I had more to say about it. And then I read Neuromancer, which I'd actually tried to read 3 times, but failed twice before. So both the times I tried to listen to it on audiobook, and if you've read Neuromancer, you'll know that it's just filled with, it sounds true, but it's filled with words. It's like crammed with words to describe the crazy world that it takes place in, which is almost like a near future cyberpunk. So it's this cyberpunk dystopia, but it feels more believable maybe than the one in Blade. Like the Blade Runner feels a little bit more like, I don't know. Yeah, it's actually interesting that I read these books next to each other, because the worlds are quite different. I would say Duran's Dream of Electric Sheep was written in the 60s, and then Neuromancer was written in the 80s, and it's a clear look at, in Neuromancer, technology is obviously more advanced. It can do more things in many ways. It's more, there's more stuff technology can do, instead of just sort of creating like perfect replicas of humans. You have the Matrix, and you have the Matrix, which is kind of like the internet. You have AIs in it. I know there's AIs obviously in Dangerous Dream, but I don't know, everything just feels more modern, and it's actually an insane book, because it feels like it could have been written sort of this year, with like everything still feels like it's just in the near future, and I don't know, but it's very shiny, it's very polished, it's very fast. Like I said, it's filled with words that kind of zip by you, which creates that atmosphere of a world that's constantly changing, that's full of stuff that's also zipping by you. And when I read it on audiobook, so I found an audiobook on YouTube which was recorded by William Gibson himself, who wrote it, and he just talks so fast. Like, he talks how he reads it how he would want it to be read, and I couldn't follow it. Like, if my mind wandered off, you'd be completely lost. So I actually got the book in the end, and I started reading it, and I just thought it was great. And if I got a bit lost, if I got a bit confused, I could go back, I could read it. I sometimes would have chapters, like I'd have like a thing on Google that would like explain kind of what just happened in the chapter, because there is a lot going on, there's a lot of characters. I'm not an amazing reader, but this book I think is especially quite difficult. But I absolutely loved it. It's so colourful. The opening chapter, this is a clumsy comparison, but it reminded me of the opening of Akira, in the sense that, not just because it's cyberpunk and stuff, but the opening of Akira, the film, is so colourful. You feel like you can feel the sort of the heat of the world, the humidity in the air kind of on your face, and the music is so perfect, and the animation, it's just so electric. It gave me that same feeling, not just because it's cyberpunk, but just the world felt so turned on. It felt so like real and vivid, and there was so much going on, and you instantly saw into this kind of conflicted character who's weighed down by drugs and past failures, I guess. And it's just so good, and actually it only really does get better. They spend half the book in this place sort of just off world, and there's a restaurant called the Jules Verne restaurant, which is just cool, and everything's so sparkly and glitzy, and the characters are great, and again it's very real. Like, it's not sort of, it does have a bit of like that 80s like where like you have to save the world and stuff like that, which Blade Runner or Duran's Dream isn't really about, I don't think, although kind of a big thing does happen in it. But the characters are very real, the relationships are very real. It's full of cool technology, it's full of great ideas, it's very colourful, it's very vivid. and the ideas in it are so relevant now. Basically, it's about AI, and it has an interesting take on AI. I might explain it. I guess spoiler warning then. It's kind of about a guy who gets recruited by a girl, who's recruited by someone else, who's then recruited by someone else who he doesn't know. So they have to do kind of jobs that are like working for this to do this, like it's a huge domino effect. And they basically, like Molly, the girl, describes that she drops like a pebble in the water, and she's like, "Oh, we're like the outer rims, or the outer ripples, and whatever is in the middle, we got to find out what that is." So the plot is them doing these jobs, but then also behind the scenes trying to find out the truth. And it's great. And basically, one half of an AI controls them, and the other half of that AI is trying to sabotage them. But it's the same AI that's working against itself. And it's such a great book, and it's got such a great ending. And it's also really cool, and there's like sort of magic in it, but technological magic. And then there's this like head in it that's kind of the MacGuffin kind of. That's made of like pipes. It says it's made of like pipes and sort of organic stuff in it, and it sings. I don't know, but it was such a weird contrast to all the technology. But I loved it. I thought it was great. Really, really good, actually, really good. I would definitely recommend Neuromancer, although it is kind of hard, but maybe I'm just not that good at reading. And then the book I read after that was another sci-fi book called Girl in Landscape, which is again set in the future. It starts off in New York. That's kind of turned into a dystopia, but it's not like cyberpunk or anything. It still feels like quite like New York today, but just that little bit like Earth's just kind of tipped over the edge. And they talk about like the ozone layer. So I don't know. I think it was late 90s. So just things like that. But it's only the first chapter, and it's about this girl who's kind of 13, and she's got two younger brothers, a mum and a dad. And the dad is a politician in New York who kind of doesn't get elected, so then because of that they move off-world to a new planet that's recently, I guess, been discovered, and there's only a few colonies on there, or settlements, and they move to this settlement that's only just got a few people in it, and it's basically about their life in the settlement. But it's all from the perspective of this sort of 13, 14-year-old girl who's just beginning to come of age and become like aware of the world and aware of adults. And that kind of curtain of innocence is beginning to be pulled up. And especially you have that feeling when you kind of realise adults don't know what they're doing as much as anyone else. I think when you're a kid, you just sort of think, oh, you know, everyone's just sort of the same. It's kind of that being revealed to itself, and the flaws of her father and other people sort of come on show, but also the danger of adults. And she kind of gets groomed in it, and she's also too old to kind of hang out with the other children. Like, she's too mature. She's more mature than them. But it's such a brilliant, I don't know, I think it might have been my favorite out of the three that I read, maybe, although I did like Neuromancer. It's just such a great, again, character study. Like, you can just see inside this girl's head, and you can see the way she sees the world, and it feels, although it's science fiction, it feels so real, and the characters feel so real and so flawed, but you know, that makes them good, obviously, or it makes them more interesting. And there is some very blatant sci-fi stuff in it. So she has this thing where she can kind of dream, and she turns into like these animals that live on the planet, and she can spy on people. So that's really kind of weird and out there and quite fantastical, but it feels believable, and it works to serve as the story so well. Like, it's so interesting, and the ending is so sort of human and like primal, and there's all this fire, and although it's set on this sort of distant planet, it feels more like a Western drama set in a sort of small village in America, you know, when America was sort of finding its footing, and in a kind of world that doesn't have a society, that doesn't have laws, that's just kind of run by the people of this settlement, and then what happens, and it's actually one of the best books I think I've ever read. I would really highly recommend it. The characters are so good. I don't want to spoil the ending, but it isn't like a devastating ending. Like, I think throughout it, I was kind of thinking, oh my god, this is not going to end well. But actually, the ending's quite triumphant. I don't know if that ruins it, but it is just, I would really recommend it. If you like sci-fi, it's great. It's a sci-fi western, I suppose, but it's very human and very real. I would say it's probably one of the best books I've read. I haven't read that many books, but you know, when you compare it to something like Lord of the Rings, which is great, and Lord of the Rings is amazing in its own way, and it has such amazing moments in it, it has such amazing human moments in it, and Lord of the Rings might be one of the best books ever written, or one of certainly the most influential books ever written. I find that in other books, you sort of get such more complex and almost, I don't want to say deeper, but like more character writing, where the story, I don't know, you know what I'm trying to say? Like the stories are, or the stories are pushed along by characters who feel very real. And I just think when you have a story like that that's also mixed in a sci-fi world and things like that, I just love it. Like, it's so interesting. And I only bring up Lord of the Rings because I read that book in January and I thought it was just amazing. And actually, it has got such amazing human moments in it, more than I thought it would. Like, at the end of the Two Towers, when Frodo gets killed and Sam realizes he has to take over, and he kind of he abandons Frodo basically, and he takes the ring off him for the greater good. And it's just such powerful. Like, oh my god, that literally makes me cry. Me and my friend were talking about that because we read it at the same time. We both agreed it was like an insane moment. I remember Lord of the Rings because it's so descriptive and it's so colourful. Before I read it, I read it when I was a kid, and then I tried to read it again when I was sort of 15. I didn't. And I remember when I was a kid, like I used to love Lord of the Rings when I was growing up, but the books I found quite hard, obviously. And I saw a lot of people be like, oh yeah, Tolkien, he over-describes stuff, he's not actually very good of a writer, blah, blah, blah. Man, he's so good. It was so colourful and vivid in my head. And there's so many great descriptions of, like, nature in it. And I also remember at the end of, when was this? I think it was at the end of part 1 of The Return of the King. No. Part 1 of The Two Towers. After they meet Saruman in Orthanc. Sorry, this is gonna be so boring to do down at Lord of the Rings. Gandalf basically just takes Pippin on his horse, and they ride to Minas Tirith. And there's this scene where Pippin's on the horse and he slowly drifts off to sleep. And Tolkien describes the world like he's on a rocking horse, and the world is sort of spinning around him like a huge clock. And I mean, I don't know. It was just like, yeah, that I can really picture that, and I really feel like that's really vivid. So I thoroughly enjoyed Lord of the Rings. I've actually read lots of great books this year. I'm really happy. Oh, another suggestion. A book called Stranger Things Happen. I've got this up here. Hold on. This is just a collection of short stories. But the way I describe them is they're almost like Studio Ghibli, but a bit sinister and a bit scary and a bit more adult. So there's, how many short stories are in this book? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So yeah, Stranger Things Happen. It's really good. And I think I like some better than, I like some of the short stories better than others, but the really good ones are just really atmospheric, really creepy, feel like a children's book, feels like a coming of age sort of book, but also are kind of sinister and creepy, but very fantastical. Actually, not all of them are sort of children's books, but she has a way of writing that kind of feels like she's reading you a bedtime story when you're going to sleep. So my personal favourites, Water Off a Black Dog's Back. It's about a girl and a boy who are probably 15, who sort of fall in love, and he goes around her parents' house, and her parents are basically weird. I think her dad has like a wooden nose. He has like lots, like he doesn't have a nose, so he makes them. And his mother only has one leg, and her fake peg leg is sort of possessed, but I think it's just set in like the 90s, and it's really cool. And they have these huge dogs that kind of want to eat him, and he's quite bewildered by it all. And it doesn't have a necessarily sad or bad ending, but it's just, there's a way that it's written that kind of makes you like, I don't know, it's like sort of magical. And then The Specialist Hat is another one, which is about two twin girls who have to go and live with their dad in this huge manor house, and the manor house is haunted. And the way it just describes ghosts, I don't know, there's just something about it that's creepy but really cool. I know I'm not very good at describing books, and the one after that, Flying Lessons, again feels like a Ghibli film, but again it's creepy. Like there's a scene where she has to go to, where she gets instructions on how to go to hell, and she has to get on the train and then wait until all the passengers turn into flame. And I don't know, like just there's a bit where the boy in it describes how his mother died to like, she got like pecked to death by peacocks or some shit. Like it's just weird. There's another one called Survivor's Pool. This book, it is just really great. And I don't think it's that well known. I found it by accident. I'm not sure how I found it, but I typed it on YouTube. Sorry, I forgot all about my painting. Should we just go back to my painting for a second? Okay, eyes in the sky. Basically nothing's changed, but you can see I've sort of done a nose there. Doesn't look like clouds, doesn't look much like a nose. If you look, it kind of looks like his nose is pointy and it's pointing down, but it's supposed to be like you're looking up at. So those two dark clouds, you're supposed to be able to see like his nostrils underneath and then the shadow just like there. Like it's supposed to be like that. But I realise now it looks like he's just got a big nose sort of at an angle going down. But yeah, anyway, I can't recommend this book enough. Like, it's a short story book as well, which I've really gotten into because it's quite nice because you can just read one or half of one before you go to sleep, and then you know you can if you want, you can read a different book the next night, and you can just kind of dip into it, and you can reread the short stories really easily. So in that regards, it's quite easy. Like it's quite easy to read because you don't have to read it all in one go. But it does, I don't know, all links together very well, so it is fun to read, kind of. It is fun to read all in one go. But yeah, if I had to describe it, Studio Ghibli movie, kind of sinister. I think I found it, I know the first time I read it was an audiobook version online, I think just on YouTube. I was trying to go to sleep and I was like, I want to listen to a story on YouTube, so I looked up like short audiobook, like scary story or something, and this one came up called The Specialist Hat, and it only had like 11 views, and I'm not sure why it was recommended to me. I'm not sure why I clicked on it, but I did, and it was just really good. And I was like, okay, I have to buy this because I like the author. I'm not just gonna listen to it all as an audiobook on YouTube and like, you know, not give the author any credit because it's a new book as well, and it is so worth it. I do recommend this book. Seriously, it's great. Creepy Studio Ghibli kind of vibes, but yeah, I don't know, just really good. God, how long have I been talking for? It's actually hard to talk to yourself for half an hour. Okay, maybe I've done pretty well, I think. We'll see how long is left. I might just look at the painting for a bit. Should we watch it? I think I'm trying to make the clouds look more like clouds here, but it's really not working. I have to admit, my painting skills are not great. And what's also a flaw is that sometimes I'll rush into stuff without really, like, thinking about how it looks exactly. So this actually, I realize now, it does not look like, the face doesn't look like how I want it to look. It looks like he's got a little nose and a bit of a mustache, but it's supposed to be his nostrils. I wonder if I can save it a bit. Honestly, I don't really remember what it looks like. And I only put it away just now. I finished it yesterday. So yeah, I have been wondering what to do with this channel because I think I want to do it, but I've been a bit like, I don't really know what videos to make, and I want to make films. Like I want to get back into making short films again, because I really love doing that, and I made one a couple months ago, very, very short little film, and it sort of was like the most fun I've had in ages. Oh, I don't know about that, but it was, you know, it was as much fun as I've had in ages. So I just want to like get back into that, but yeah, I don't know, there's no buts really. Well, I would say that I don't really know where to go with them. Like, I have lots of ideas, but yeah, I don't know. I think I just have to do the work, and I do the work, but I'll sort of sabotage myself. So I did make a plan where I was like, I need to finish a story, because that's kind of the struggle you have to get through, where you kind of start something and you don't really like it, and then you scrap it. If you start something and you look at it as like, oh, it's not good, then scrap it, you just keep scrapping ideas. You have to start something and be like, oh, okay, there's actually things I like about this, and look at the things you like and then expand them, and then you have a kind of bigger ball, and then you expand that, and then you have like a whole story. And I was very good at just scrapping everything, because, you know, I didn't like my ideas or whatever. So I have stuck with something, but I haven't quite finished it, so I'm going to try and get over the finish line with that, and hopefully that will give me a bit of confidence that I can actually still write, and I can actually still make films, because I've kind of lost my confidence with it all, I think, going to university and stuff. And also, it's not just that, but it's like, I guess I grew up a bit and I realized there was more in the world. I was so focused on making films that I realized, well, you know, what do I actually want to do? And I still haven't really answered that question. So, but when I write, it's weird. When I write, I'm like, yeah, I love this. I love everything I come up with. And then when I'm not writing, I'm like, oh, it's all bad. So I kind of I guess I just need to stick with it a bit, and I'll probably get through that and be like, oh, once I have like a finished idea, I'm like, oh no, I definitely want to make this. That's what I imagine is going to happen. But I need to get through, I need to like stick through it. So hopefully after I finish this video, I'll do some writing after dinner. And I might be one step closer to finishing that story. You know, I think it's easy, well, as a human, it's like I want to just sort of be like, make a plan, be like, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this. But with art, it's kind of, you just kind of have to let it like do its own thing, and then you'll know, I think. But I haven't had that in a little while, so I'll see. So I wonder if at this point I've decided I'm done with the sky. So that basically, that's the sky, and then you'll see that this is like the side of a mountain. It's obviously a little bit stylized, like it's not perfectly straight, but that's just what I want it to be, like cut in two. So I wonder if now, do I start the next part? I'm not actually too sure. I wonder how long I should make this video as well. I don't know if this video is interesting or not. I really can't. Somehow I don't think it is, but I have watched a video where a guy paints and then he talks for like an hour. And I watched it all and I was like, this is great. But also, he knew what he was talking about, and he was like also teaching how to paint, and it was just interesting to watch. I don't know, I feel like me rambling about books and doing terrible book reviews where I can't really remember anything about them, isn't that interesting. But I would like to do YouTube because I like talking to a camera and I like making videos, but I know that first and foremost I do want to make films, and I do need to get back into that. I think for a long time, like I started making films when I was 15, and then it kind of became so much part of my personality that it sort of became part of like a persona. So then when I kind of stopped doing it at university, I felt like a part of me had, like a part of my image and who I thought I was had left. And then I felt like I had to make films to get that back, which isn't true. So I've kind of taken a step back from it all just to rediscover myself outside of films, which I think I've started to do. But it's also just like, don't put too much pressure on yourself, just enjoy it. That's the main thing, because a lot of the time, you might have like a bad feeling inside it, like you might be hurting inside of you, like a sadness or something, and then you spend a lot of your energy trying to fill that up with something instead of just sort of acknowledging the feeling that it's there and letting it sort of naturally leave. Because I think once you acknowledge feelings and you say, oh, it's alright, and then you don't do anything about them, you don't try and put plasters on them or whatever, they do naturally kind of disappear. But I think I spent quite a long time just sort of trying to be like, oh, why do I feel bad? Oh, it's because I haven't made a film. And then I try and make a film, but that's not a good place to operate. Art, you cannot operate. Well, I cannot operate from a place of stress or like fear when I'm making art. Like, it doesn't work. So I think I was doing that for a long time, and it never really worked. And I haven't made anything for quite some time that I've actually liked, which isn't really true, but it's just few and far between. Like, the amount I've written, the amount of time I spend writing versus what I've come out with is like, it's crazy. I mean, I've spent hundreds of hours writing this year, and I've got nothing. And that's because I was kind of like, I was just doing it in a stressed out way. So I've had to learn just kind of to take a step back. And oh, look, here we go. I have started the next part. This is me trying to draw the guy who I want to be in it. Who's like crawling, he's like crawling like on all fours like that. So, I was actually quite happy with how it turned out, spoiler. Although it doesn't look that good, like it doesn't look good, but I'm not a very good painter, so I thought it could have gone worse. But maybe, I don't know, you guys can be the judge of that. Maybe it's not that good. But drawing is hard. I find it really difficult. But it's because I sort of rush it and then I go wrong. But it is about training how you look at things, I think. That's what I've discovered. It's about trying to look at 3D things in a sort of 2D way, which is quite hard. And something that I always forget when I try and do a picture. Bro, this monster's giving me energy. I don't know what to say, I don't know what to talk about. What have I been watching? Been listening to the Rest is History podcast, which I'm quite enjoying. They did a series on Nelson, which I enjoyed. In fact, actually, they've done 2 series on Nelson. They did 6 episodes where it was the beginning of his life, and then 6 episodes where it was sort of more towards the end of his life. And they were so good. Like, I knew nothing about Nelson, and now, I mean, I know a little bit. Right? I mean, it was like 12 episodes, so it's like 12 hours worth. And he's such a fascinating character. I mean, not a terribly good character. But not necessarily evil. He's just like, he's, you know, whatever. He's a man of his time, put it that way. But he is fascinating. Like, what he did is crazy. So that was really interesting to learn about him. And they've just done a series on Queen Elizabeth I, who's like a Tudor queen in the 1500s. So that was quite interesting. But it's a really good podcast. They're really funny, and they're really clever, and they seem to know everything. And they provide so many interesting tidbits along the way. Like, they're so good at telling the stories of history, plus providing little details that are very funny, basically. So I would recommend that podcast. Other than that, I don't really listen. I sort of watch Trash Taste quite a lot, but I haven't recently. I don't really know what other things I listen to. Who knows? Maybe this is too much of an ask to talk for an hour. I just won't talk. Let's just watch the video. It's my channel. I can do what I want. Let's watch the video together. Can you still see me, or if I disappeared into sort of darkness here? I'm not sure. I'm not sure how bright my face is. In fact, if I lean back, I actually don't think it is that bright, so I'm going to move this slightly closer to me. Even more, maybe? There we go. Now I feel like if I sit up like this, I'm obviously super bright, which I don't really want. God, I'm really hungry, I'll tell you that though. Yeah. Do I sound alright? I got my little microphone on. I wonder if it's any good. Oh! Yeah, but I'm at that funny age where I'm 22 and I don't really know what to do with my life. But I was gonna move to London and I thought, I don't really want to do this. But that's because I felt like I wanted to move to Japan. But again, I was operating from a point of stress. I just don't think that's a good place to operate from. So I said, okay, I'm not gonna move to London. I'm gonna come back to my home and just chill out and not be stressed, which is what I've been doing. And I feel way less stressed than I did in like August. And I kind of said, okay, I'm gonna move to Japan. That could be like the thing that I plan towards. So then I was like, okay, I'll find another job, and then I'll start saving up. And I have found a job, and it's okay, but they said it would be full time, and they're like not putting me on full time. So that's a bit annoying, and I can't really save up. So I just sort of feel, I guess I feel a bit stuck, which I think a lot of people do at my age. And I actually deleted Instagram because I'd look on people's stories and, you know, I felt like a sort of teenager in school where, like, you compare yourself to everyone. And I just found that really annoying, where it was like I was stressed and so depressed about my life, not in general, I mean just in this moment, like I'm not, you know, where I want to be, and I'm full of energy, I'm full of things I want to do. So then seeing everyone having, obviously, not actually, but, you know, seeing everyone's stories and they're doing this and they're doing that and they're doing that, it just made me feel more stressed and I put more pressure on myself. So I actually just deleted it, and it has been good for me. And I even have phases where I just won't turn on my phone at all, and I'll move to like a flip phone. At the moment I do have my actual phone, and it is a great time wasting device, I have to admit. I will look at that sometimes for quite a while. It never helps. So I'm trying to replace it with books and things like that. And it's kind of that a bit, like, I'm trying to get good at just being bored. Like, if I'm sitting on the toilet or, like, waiting for the microwave to finish turning, instead of looking at my phone, I just look at something else. I look at the wall or some stuff. Because I think, again, like I was going back to, like, how you have feelings inside of you. Like a sad feeling or something that you can't address, you can't look at. In those moments in between, where you have to not do anything because you have to wait 4 minutes for your food to warm up in the microwave, or you're on the toilet, or you're in the, I don't know, whatever, right? You're waiting for the bus or something. It's then easy to distract yourself by looking at the phone, and you'll never acknowledge those moments. Apart from those few, that like 20 minutes before you go to sleep when you're lying in bed and all your thoughts come back. I was like, oh, I don't want to be like that. I think I used to be like that when I was a kid, but I was like, oh, I don't want to be like that, so I'll get rid of my phone. And it has made me more aware of actually how I feel, and that it's okay. And I meditate as well. I'm not over the last few days, but usually I meditate. And it's just about, yeah, kind of confronting how you feel. And if I know if I can do that, like all my problems will kind of be solved, because I'll be happy, you know. And it's not that I'm not happy, but you know, I'm not where I want to be in my life. So sometimes it's easy to think that the remedy is out of you, but actually the remedy is inside of you, and you just have to kind of acknowledge how you feel, I think, and let those emotions pass. Did I just skip loads ahead? Look, I've drawn my little man, and I've decided to do like triangles and stuff outside of him, and that's kind of just like magic, I guess. And he's crawling over the mountain, and he's got that like beam of light coming from his hand. And it was, just before I started drawing this, I was like, oh my god, this is like the Lord of the Rings. It's like Frodo or Sam with the ring climbing up Mount Doom or climbing through Mordor, and then you have Sauron looking in the sky with his big eyes. So I wonder what I'll call this painting. Maybe Lord of the Rings. Sam in Mordor or something. One of my favourite scenes in Lord of the Rings is when, again, Sam is on his own. I think it's when he finds out Frodo's alive, and he has to go up the tower to save him, and he has to pass underneath those two sort of statues of like, I think they're like birds or like birds of prey or something. Actually, it's not in the films, but it's such a great scene. I wish they'd put it in the films. Although I don't think, well, I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. It's funny when I started reading the book, I obviously pictured it like the films, but by the end, I had my own version of all the characters in the world because it's so vivid and it's so detailed. And the films are great, but they're quite grounded and they're quite realistic and gritty. But the films are very colourful and much more magical. And if you look at Tolkien's drawings, I think they share that sort of whimsiness that the books have, that I really like. So it's nice that the book and the film is quite different because it gives two different portrayals of the world. And I mean, there's so much art of the Lord of the Rings out there. There's like every different kind of fantasy version of it. Yeah, such a crazy series that he wrote that. It's so influential. Worlds upon worlds upon worlds have been created from that. It's so cool. Makes me think about World of Warcraft. That game has always fascinated me because I've never played it, and I literally don't know anything about it. But you hear, I don't know if people still do this. I think there's other games now, but back in the day, people would just spend their whole lives on there. I was like, it must be good, right? It kind of makes me want to play it. Like, it must have been a cool game. Like, you must have been able to do so much stuff. But I don't even know what it... I've never really looked into it at all. I don't really want to play it, but like, I bet it's cool. I bet it's super nerdy though, that's for sure. I do want to get back into playing games. I used to play a lot more games than I do now. I definitely became like a bit of a workaholic. I was like, I cannot do anything. And I just don't want to be like that anymore. So I'd like to play more games. I'm trying to read more, which I am doing. I've sort of done that. Like, I like reading now. I'm trying to watch more films. And I want to stop playing games. What films I watched Ponyo recently, which was really good. I watched a film... Oh, I forgot what it's called. Let me look it up. Can you guys hear that? House director, Japanese. So it's by a guy who made a Japanese film called House, which is really good. But he's called Nobuhiko Obayashi. Nobuhiko Obayashi. So he's done a bunch of films. But I watched his most recent one, and actually I think he died recently, so I think it was his last film. Bro, he's made loads of films. I gotta watch these. This is awesome. Wait, I think he made this film, though, to be fair, I can't... Oh yeah, Hanagatami, which is like a war sort of drama film. It's all set on like this little island, or this, not an island, it's like a coastal town. But it's really good, it's really entertaining. The characters are great. It's almost sort of Shakespearean, like it's quite dramatic, and no, I'll tell you what, it feels like a play. I think it's based off a play, and it feels like a play. But I would recommend it, and it's a really cool style. Like, it's like House, where it's very kitsch. Is that the right word? Kind of feels like it's put together by, like, you know, string. But it works really well, and it looks great. It's sort of the kind of film I'd like to make, to be honest. So I watched that. That was really good. I don't know what else I watched. Oh, look at this. I'm practicing the clouds. I think I'm going to go and attack the sky once more. That must be what I'm thinking, and I have to do it properly. But I clearly can't be bothered, so I do a kappa instead. And if you look at those two clouds there, I mean, they do not look good, do they? That's the best cloud. And I think it's the lighting, right? Like, that's the, oh my god, this monster has got me going crazy. I know I'm not acting like it, but inside I can feel my brain buzzing. It's that kind of 3D-ness. It's just, I do struggle with. I remember once I was drawing rocks and it suddenly clicked and I could just draw rocks, like three-dimensional rocks. And then I went back and tried to do it again, I just couldn't do it. And I you know, I'm still trying. But it is just that 3D effect. I don't know where I've gone, I've seemed to have disappeared. So that's always good. But yeah, I think sometimes it does click in my head and I'm like, oh, I know where the light is and I know how to draw everything. It makes sense, but sometimes I don't. I'm kind of on the cusp of understanding it and not understanding it. And is my face kind of like half in shadow here? I mean, that's not a good look, is it? I look evil. I have definitely, oh no, here we go, I'm back. Hello. Wear my pajamas. So I do want to basically do this YouTube channel, but I'm not quite sure what videos to do. But I think if I just make videos, I'll know. And I quite enjoy making videos, so that's good. Yeah, and I don't know if anyone's gonna watch this, and I really highly doubt anyone's gonna watch this whole thing. But if you do have any suggestions, like put it in the comments, or at least suggestions on how I could improve a video like this, or if this video is even worth watching. Maybe it'd be worth watching if I cut it down to like 10, 15 minutes, about an hour. I mean, you know, that's crazy. Especially when I have nothing interesting to say. So yeah. Oh, I've watched Stranger Things. That's what I've watched, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. That's what I've been doing all the time. I've been watching Stranger Things, which is crazy that I haven't watched it until now, because it's so up my street. It's just like my favorite genre, I guess. I don't know. It's just like the vibes. I just love that kind of 80s synthwave. You know, I mean, it's what got me into making films, really. I've always loved it, but I've always sort of not watched Stranger Things, because it's like, oh well, I don't know. I just sort of didn't ever feel the need, and I'm not sure why. Maybe I sort of sneered at it, but I don't remember sneering at it. I think I was always like, oh yeah, I'll watch it, but not right now. And then I was like, oh, I'm just gonna watch it because the new season is coming out, and I loved it. I thought it was great. I don't understand how you can direct kids like that and make them so good. I guess it's something about just sort of the honesty and how they can probably just believe what they're doing. They're really good at it. They do kind of get worse. I don't think Elle does. I don't think Dustin or Lucas do, but I think Will and Mike, I think they do a little bit, especially in season 4. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty good. It's nothing like insane. It's not like an insane story or series or whatever, but it's thoroughly enjoyable. It's very entertaining. I had a few problems with it, so I think the Upside Down, like after season 1, I found it to be a little bit boring. It's like in season 3, the main villain is like, okay, there's these like Russians, I guess. And then it's just like a big animal, and they have to defeat the big animal. And the big animal is just, like, animals don't make that interesting of characters because they don't have characters. It's like they literally just have to defeat this monster. And you know they're going to as well, so it's just a bit like, oh, whatever. But in season 4, kind of my prayers got answered, where there was a proper villain who was fantastical and was conscious, like he was an evil villain. And that was really good. And I think season 4 is definitely probably the best season. I like season 1 as well, because the Upside Down is cool in that. And it's very novel, like the idea of Stranger Things was sort of cool, and, you know, nothing had grown tired of seeing season 1. But season 4 is very entertaining. I think it's the most entertaining season. And I'm looking forward to season 5. I don't know if they'll drop the ball. I can't really see them dropping the ball, because I don't think they're going to do anything crazy. So, we'll see. I haven't watched the first 5 minutes. I know that got released on YouTube, but I don't want to watch that. But I have seen the trailer. And I thought it looked pretty good. But I think you can have complaints about Stranger Things. I think you can say, oh, they don't take risks, the characters never die, whatever. But I think that's alright. Like, you know, I don't know. I guess it's kind of like an 80s parody where they didn't take many risks. Like characters don't die, you know, things like that. It's kind of chill. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's really good. I do recommend it to someone. Oh my god, this monster's actually made me go crazy. I know I don't see him, but in my head I'm like... That's crazy. So here, look, that's not a bad cloud, I thought. That top bar, okay, look, it's not great. I mean, I'd say it's not bad. It's pretty bad. But for me, it looks alright. Like, I'm starting to understand shading. I think at this point I'm sort of getting it a bit. And if I did it now, I wouldn't be able to do it though, so I do have to keep practicing. But I think it, you know, I'm getting it. Like, you can sort of see me making the shape of the cloud through the shadow, which I know is sort of what I think you're supposed to do with stuff. I'm going to move this light back a little bit, because I feel like I'm too bright. So yeah. I'm not gonna have a monster again. This is actually gonna go crazy. I can't just have a monster and then sit and not do anything. Like, that's just that. I feel like I'm gonna go. I need to go for a run or something. I've started learning how to skateboard, which is really funny. I suck at it, but it's fun. And I haven't actually fallen off yet, which maybe means I'm not doing enough. But I'm just going down like the side alley in my house by my garden, and I'm sort of pushing off and just trying to stand on it, and it's fun. I'm gonna learn how to skateboard. I should be learning how to drive, because I have a driving test coming up, but I'm not doing that right now. Because it's hard to get lessons when I don't know when my work schedule is always changing, so it's hard to like say I need a lesson here and here and here when I don't know when I'm going to be working, so I need to kind of figure that all out, and I'm sort of relying on my manager, so we'll see. I hope this video isn't, I know this video is not going to be good. This is silly. I feel like with YouTube, it's like I should make, first and foremost, I should make films, and then if I wanted to do YouTube, I should do that as well. If I want to make films, then I should do YouTube as well. If I decide I don't want to make films, then I should just go and do something else. But I just don't think, I think I know that I want to make films. I'm a little bit scared to sort of jump into it. Which is okay, and I don't want to fight with myself. I don't want to be like, come on, you have to do this, you have to do that. Because it hasn't worked. Like, I've been doing that for 3 years. Or maybe I could say, okay, this is everyone understands this. I guess my passion for it has gone a little bit, and I'm just trying to rediscover that passion. And I think my passion went because the world got a bit serious. I had to get a job. I wanted to make this my job. Maybe I should just try to I just want to chill out a bit. See, I know the clouds look bad, but I've got it a little bit down, shading wise. I know they look very rough, very simple, but they do look like a shape, so that's better than nothing. And I wonder if this, am I too dark now? Like, I can't really tell. I look dark on my monitor, but I know that's, the contrast is turned up loads on that, and that's not actually what the footage looks like, so. I feel like I'm too dark if I lean back. I've disappeared again. So my monster's finished. Should I read a bit of my story? Not my story, should I read a bit of this? Okay, I'm going to read some of the Specialist Hat, and I'm going to see if you want to enjoy it. Does that make sense? No. I'm going to read the Specialist Hats, and the Specialist Hat by Kelly Link, and you can see if you'll enjoy it or not. And if you do, then read the book, it's really good. Let me see if I'm any good at reading. When you're dead, Samantha says, you don't have to brush your teeth. When you're dead, Claire says, you live in a box, and it's always dark, but you're never afraid. Claire and Samantha are identical twins. Their combined age is 20 years, 4 months, and 6 days. Claire is better at being dead than Samantha. The babysitter yawns, covering up her mouth with a long white hand. I said to brush your teeth and that it's time for bed, she says. She sits cross-legged on the flowered bedspread between them. She has been teaching them a card game called Pounce, which involves 3 decks of cards, one for each of them. Samantha's deck is missing the Jack of Spades and the 2 of Hearts, and Claire keeps on cheating. The babysitter wins anyway. There is still flecks of dried shaving cream and toilet paper on her arms. It is hard to tell how old she is. At first they thought she must be a grown-up, but now she hardly looks older than they. Samantha has forgotten the babysitter's name. Claire's face is stubborn. When you're dead, she says, you stay up all night long. When you're dead, the babysitter snaps, it's always very cold and damp, and you have to be very, very quiet, or else the specialist will get you. This house is haunted, Claire says. I know it is, the babysitter says. I used to live here. Something is creeping up the stairs. Something is standing outside the door. Something is sobbing in the dark. Something is sighing across the floor. Claire and Samantha are spending the summer with their father in the house called 8 Chimneys. Their mother is dead. She has been dead for exactly 282 days. Their father is writing a history of the 8 Chimneys and of the poet Charles Cheetham Rash, who lived here at the turn of the century, and who ran away to sea when he was 13 and returned when he was 38. He married, fathered a child, wrote 3 volumes of bad, obscure poetry, and an even worse and more obscure novel, The One Who Is Watching Me Through the Window, before disappearing again in 1907, this time for good. Samantha and Claire's father says that some of the poetry is actually quite readable, and at least the novel isn't very long. When Samantha asked him why he was writing about a rash, when Samantha asked him why he was writing about rash, he replied that no one else had, and why didn't she and Samantha go play outside? When she pointed out that she was Samantha, he just scowled and said how could he be expected to tell them apart when they both wore blue jeans and flannel shirts? And why couldn't one of them dress all in green and the other in pink? Claire and Samantha preferred to play inside. 8 Chimneys as big as a castle but dustier than Samantha imagines a castle would be. There are more sofas, more china shepherdesses, don't know what that is, with chipped fingers, fewer suits of armour, and no moat. The house is open to the public, and during the day, people, families, driving along the Blue Ridge Parkway will stop to tour the grounds and the first story. The third story belongs to Claire and Samantha. Sometimes they play explorers, and sometimes they follow the caretaker as he gives tours to visitors. After a few weeks, they have memorized his lecture, and they mouth it along with him. They help him sell postcards and copies of Rash's poetry to the tourist families who come into the little gift shop. When the mothers smile at them and say how sweet they are, they stare back and don't say anything at all. The dim light in the house makes the mothers look pale and flickery and tired. They leave 8 Chimneys, mothers and families, looking not quite as real as they did before they paid their admission. And of course, Claire and Samantha will never see them again, so maybe they aren't real. Better to stay inside the house. They want to tell the families, and if you must leave, then go straight to your cars. The caretaker says the woods aren't safe. Their father stays in the library, on the 2nd story all morning, typing, and in the afternoon he takes long walks. He takes his pocket recorder along with him, and a hip flask of Gentleman Jack, but not Samantha and Claire. The caretaker of the 8 Chimneys is Mr. Coldsack. His left leg is noticeably shorter than his right. He wears one stacked heel, short black hairs grow out of his ears and his nostrils, and there is no hair at all on the top of his head. But he's given Samantha and Claire permission to explore the whole of the house. It was Mr. Coldsack who told them that there were copperheads in the woods, and that the house is haunted. He says they all are. He says they are all ghosts and snakes, and pretty bad-tempered lot, and Samantha and Claire should stick to the marked trails and stay out of the attic. It is actually really good. I know I'm not very good at reading, There's a great scene at the end as well. It's actually worth doing. Anyway, I'm now adding pencil colored to the drawing, which is kind of cool. To my little guy over here. I really like Shulk from Ocarina of Time, which I haven't played all the way through, but I know Shulk. And I kind of based him off her. I like the way Shulk sort of is wrapped up in like desert gear and stuff, so he's kind of supposed to look like that. This painting really isn't that good, but it doesn't really matter. Like, it's just one of, hopefully, a few paintings. And hopefully, the more I do, the better I'll get. Yeah, I'm still... The nose does look more like a nose, I think, now. As in, the kind of nose I want it to look like. I thought giving him, like... I don't know. It doesn't look that good, does it? But I think it's okay. It's not really. It's not good, but it's okay for me. That's what I mean. I do have to make a film. I realise that's my... It is what I want to do. I should really create a plan for it which I can stick to. I must be almost finished. I wonder how... Yeah, I am almost finished. Yeah, I think this drawing's okay. I'm not sure what I'll call it. I'll come up with a name. Should I come up with a name for it now? Wanderer? The Traveller? Trespasser? My last one was called The Sorcerer, so maybe I should come up with something else. What about Land of Shadow? Okay. I mean, that's Lord of the Rings, so that's sort of a reference there. Land of Shadow. Okay, the Land of Shadow. That's what this painting is called. So yeah, now I've just given that guy fucking eyeliner, which looks pretty bad. But I think I sort of was giving up. I didn't really know what to do, and I was like, I'm not too sure. I probably should have tried to blend the eyes in and make them look realistic, but I went for the easy route, I guess, which isn't so good. But it looks alright. I mean, it looks okay. It looks just like how it does. Like, I don't know. It's cool to me because I like the idea, and I don't know, but I know to anyone else they just wouldn't care. Yeah. Okay, I think that must be it then. I think I'm done. What do you guys think? If anyone's here, I might be talking to myself. I probably am talking to myself. I think it could be way better. I think the little guy can stand out more. Like, I use coloured thumbs down, thumbs up. I think it's okay. Yeah, it's alright. I agree. The little guy can stand out more. Bye. I think I'm saying bye. Goodbye. That must be it. Yeah, the little guy can stand out more. I think the eyes look a bit wonky. blah 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 whatever. I should tape the edges on my page so like I can take the tape off and it looks a bit nicer. But I forgot to do that. So yeah, I don't know, overall it was okay. I don't know what this YouTube video is going to be like. Somehow I don't think it's going to be very entertaining. But yeah, nevertheless, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for staying until the end if anybody did. If you did, thank you. If you just skipped through, hello. I hope you're all doing well. Hopefully I will be back sooner rather than later with another video, but who knows, I don't know. But yeah, thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you liked it, please give it a like, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.